Go to the fording of the Oretia River. This is up by Loch Eel, if you recognise the area, and for some reason the people involved here didn't want to use the bridge.
Today I'm here with the Southland Tramping Club. We have a Mountain Safety Council course on today, and we're going to have a little look at river crossing. I have Ivan Strang here to my right. How are you, Ivan?
Good, Megan, thank you.
Can you tell me, what are the basics in river crossing? What's the first thing you need to think of?
Well, the first thing to look for is ask yourself whether you really need to cross in the first place. Well, we need to look for a safe place, a good place to cross, and we need to look for a place that has a good entrance into the water and a good exit on the other side, a good bottom on the river, not too rough, where the water's not too deep, not too swift, and so on. There's a lot of factors have to be considered.
Okay, we're going to have a look at one of the forms of river crossing today. What's that called?
We'll be showing the people how to use a new pack strap method which has been developed. There's nothing really new about it, but there are some new twists to it.
What is the pack strap method?
Well, it involves firstly preparing yourself, and that means with a modern pack it's got a waist belt, and they've often got a chest strap as well. And we need to be aware that if we get swept away, we're going to have to get out of that pack, perhaps. But at the same time, we may not want to. We may want to use it as a life jacket. The old packs didn't have waist buckles, and if they did, you couldn't undo them quickly. So with a modern pack, we leave the waist buckle done up, the chest strap undone, and we loosen off the shoulder straps to make it easier to get out of. And then we get our partner or partners, their arms behind our backs, between our pack and our back, and reach through the other side and hold the waist belt or the shoulder strap on the other side. So you're not reaching over the top of the person, you're reaching through behind their back, and you can support them quite well that way.
Okay, so you actually sort of go along as a train across the river?
Yeah, we all walk side by side, sheltering behind one another. You're actually, if you're wearing a parka or any other loose clothing, you should tuck it away.
Even experienced people who get out into the bush and the mountains should renew their methods, just like a first aid certificate. Every 2 years or so, go to a river crossing.
If you're swept away, you're probably going to break up as a group, and you're going to find yourself floating off down the river. And if there are rocks in the river, you need to be able to move around and use your pack as a buffer. So you go down backwards and let the pack take the punishment. When you get to a place where you can actually head towards the bank safely, you actually face downstream and angle away from the bank, or angle your feet away from the bank, and by paddling backwards with your arms and kicking with your feet, you can do what we call a ferry glide and propel yourself into the bank very quickly, using the current to deflect yourself sideways.
Don't you sink with the pack on your back?
No, the pack's got a lot of flotation. It'll float. If you throw a pack in the water, it'll float about 3/4 of it out of the water. And so you can really lean back on it. It's got a lot of flotation in it.
So you lean back and swim backwards like a stranded beetle rather than...
Yep, exactly. Exactly like a stranded beetle.
Have you had any bad experiences in river crossing?
Yes, I have. That's why one of the reasons why I joined Mountain Safety is because I did have a bad experience river crossing, and I felt I nearly lost my life.
What happened?
I crossed where I shouldn't have crossed. I followed somebody, and I tried to tell her it wasn't safe, but what I did, I still followed her, and my feet started getting swept off the rocks, and I couldn't talk. We weren't linked up. We weren't linked at all, and for some reason she turned around just as I was about to go and grabbed me, and we just made it ashore. So this is the reasons why I can't emphasise the fact it's very important, and I was an experienced tramper.
Just shows you. There we are, the Oretia River up near Loch Eel was where they were fording, and we had experienced trampers. Now we've got experienced town criers, something that died out in the 1750s. Now, we were looking at the Oretia River there. Now that's an Invercargill River, I think.
Of course it is, with great trout in it too. We'll claim that one, Jerry.
We'll claim that. What river have you...
claim the Matara, which is the finest brown trout river in the world, and we know that because there's a huge statue to that effect in the centre of Gore.
And that proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Beyond shadow of a doubt.
Hey, in your cry, Michael, you going to refer to that river, the Matara?
I certainly am.
Right.
What else will I refer to?
Well, in the cry, you've got one for your local city. Gretchen, what are you going to say about Invercargill?
I'm going to tell what a wonderful place it is, how that everyone should come and visit it. I've got the secret that I want to share with everyone else. Long romantic twilights, Jerry, worth coming for.
Can you beat that, Michael?
I certainly can, and don't ask me to paraphrase my cry, because I have no intent. It's in there and it's going to be done.
You're going to do it
Yes, I'll do it.
for us here in studio.
Here in the studio.
We'll have to take up the challenge, Gretchen. If he's going to do it, will you do it?
I'm happy to ring my bell and challenge Mike.
Good on you. Hey, well, let's have a look at those bells right now. Can you actually give us the sound of your bell, Gretchen, and see if it's better than Michael's bell?
That'll get people listening, Jerry.
That's tuneful. That's
Indeed.
musical. Come on,
Melodic.
Michael. Let's see
A
what you can do
little
with
bit
yours.
pale.
Well, that'll deafen them.
Look at that
I
handle.
think, will that be a senior citizen's bell, Michael?
How dare
Yes,
you.
mine's a feminine one, Jerry.
Yours is. It's musical and it's got a nice tinkle to it. It's very good.
Let me hear that.
Hey, we want to know more.
Oh dear. Very nice.
Very nice. We want to hear
Well
more
done.
about the competition, how they decide the rules. Now, I think looks are an important part. And you were telling me about a Canadian who's got 50 different changes of uniform.
This guy, he comes from Hull in Quebec. He's one of those French Canadians, and he's a professional he's an actor, first of all, a professional actor.
He is
And,
too, Gretchen. He is too. Watch him.
And he has 50 different costumes. One of them is a Red Indian thing, you know, leather with the bits flying out of it. He's a good-looking guy, young fella, and he's got a great voice, and he's really wonderful. And when we were in Melbourne at the World Championships in 1995, we went to the Melbourne Cup. We were
Don't be
taken in
put
there.
off just because he was at the World Champs,
I
Gretchen. Just
hear
ignore
him
that.
dropping these in
Yeah.
every so often.
Carry
Yes.
on, Michael.
Are
He
you
was-
quite finished?
Timaroo, here we come.
This guy insisted on entering the fashion thing, you know, where the ladies go out and there's a prize, quite a big prize, a trip to Fiji with $2,000.
He entered with the women.
And he insisted on the grounds of sex discrimination that he should enter with the women, and he did, and he won.
Well, my husband's going to be my escort, so he could enter the best dressed escort too, couldn't he?
He could well. You don't be put off by this men having an advantage just because the bell might be louder and they can ring it harder. Gretchen, I think style has got a lot to do with it.
Yes, it has, yes, absolutely.
Now, I want to find out how you
That's
got
why we're
appointed,
here.
Michael.
Pardon?
How did you get appointed as town crier?
When they were starting this thing, the New Zealand Guild of Town Criers, about 5 years ago, they sent notices around to every local authority in New Zealand and asked them if they'd like to have a town crier in the thing, would they enter in the competition and so forth. And Gore took up the challenge and asked me if I would do the job, because I had done something in an amateurish sort of way some months before.
So you got the backing of the Gore
I've got the
Council
back-
behind you.
I am the official town crier for Gore.
There's a bigger council here in Invercargill, Gretchen.
And I've got Mr Harrington's blessing. I'm the self-appointed town crier of Invercargill, but the City Council is behind me because, after all, we're promoting Invercargill and
true.
Southland.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about.
We're both going up to promote Southland
great.
with our own little corner of it as a speciality.
Shortly we find out how to get rid of the wasps, and also we're going to find out who's got the better cry of the two. But who cares, so long as they represent Southland and bring away that national title. Back shortly.